Welcome to CharacterSelect. My name is Dave, and this is Motorsport Manager, which you can't actually see because my head is in the way of the logo. Let me just see if I can fix that for you. Hey, look, it's Motorsport Manager. Sweet. Okay. This is another game that I have put way too many hours into for what it is, but it's a lot of fun. It's good times. But we are going to I'm just going to show you a bit of what this game is like. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a game where you are managing a motorsport company. We'll change this to day, month, year. But it's a game that has a lot of legs. Right. Date of birth is 5/8/83. Yes, I am 35 years old. Why do you ask? God, it's awful. I'm from Canada. Alright. I'm pale as hell. Brown. That's not my facial hair. That's not my facial hair. There we go. That's pretty sweet. How about hairstyle? Yeah, it's pretty close. Alright. Alright, so let's say that I'm an ex-engineer. No, don't auto-generate. God damn it. That's not what I intended to do. Pale. Done. Okay, continue. We're going to create a team. This is difficult. I strongly recommend not doing this. But we are going to start with European racing, because it's actually easier to get started that way. European Racing Series. The team name is going to be... No, not David Racing. That's horrible. Phoenix Motorsports. It's a great name. Origin, North America. Why are we racing in Europe? Fuck you. United States. Logo design. Blah, 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 blah. That looks cool. Team uniform. Sure. Livery. Yeah, alright. So you have to choose how you want to start your season. You can choose an investor that doesn't give you a lot of money, but does have low expectations of you. You could choose an investor that gives you quite a bit more money, but actually has expectations of you. And you could choose an investor that gives you a lot of money and expects you to win. So we'll do that. Which is very difficult for you to do in the first year, but we're going to try. Stop watching. Start winning. Take control. Yeah, it's a game where you're managing a motorsport team. You're not actually driving. There are certain things that you can influence during the race, but you're not actually behind the wheel, which is fine. It's a management game. It is what you think it is. Don't expect too much out of that, or too much more than that. But, so my job security is secure. Sweet. So I have to report to the chairman. The chairman decides whether or not I'm actually going to keep working at the company that's named after me. Start with $15,000. Each race cost me $15 million. Each race cost me $1.4 million. And my car sucks. My staff sucks. My sponsors suck. My pit crew sucks. My headquarters is kind of okay. My drivers are not as good as the average. But I'm stuck with them for quite a while. His contract is good for 10 months. Faith Anthony's contract is good for 10 months. The reserve driver is crappier than either of them, and his contract is good for 10 months. My race mechanics are awful. Let's see, what can we do here? Pit crew, eh? This is actually new. I don't remember seeing this before. Okay. I've been handling the management of the pit crew up until now, but I understand you might want to take charge of it. There are 3 things to know. Job-specific stats, stamina, and recovery. I'd like to present my initial report of the state of the team. Take a deep breath. Our drivers are awful. Our design is awful. Our mechanics are awful. You need to get hiring fast. You know where to find me. So the targets for the first... so the corresponding budget that you set will have to last all year, so be careful with your spending. Basically, you're probably not getting more money. And that's bad. We need to build the team up completely from scratch. Frankly, we have temporary staffs and drivers, no sponsors, a weak car, and a shoddy HQ. Not much to do then. With that in mind, where do you think we can hope to finish by the end of the season? If I say 8th, I can get $16.6 million up front. If I say 10th, I can get $13.84 million up front. So the lower you set your expectations, the less they're going to give you. But we're going to go with 10th. That adds to our money. And that's our budget for the season. Alright, so start us something great. Your investors have asked me to keep an eye on how things are progressing. I'll be acting as your chairman, and I have the power to remove you from your job if things aren't, shall we say, going to plan. Yes. Garbage. Confirm. I'm just going to set that to auto-manage right now because I actually don't know about how that works yet. And I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to have to learn while I'm showing you guys this game. So you can fire somebody, but it does actually cost you money to break their contract, and you generally want to have somebody set up before you do that. We're doing pretty good because we got a test track right out the gate. Our car sucks. Okay, so here's where you get into kind of the micromanaging stuff. I can design new parts. The next race is crucial. It's going to take 10.9 days, and the next race is in 16 days. Alright, let's see if we can't build a better engine. With a better top speed. It's going to cost $1.5 million. Build it. Yeah, it turns out nothing in the world of motorsports is fucking cheap. Alright. Don't want to scout the drivers. I do want to scout the designers. Now, the thing with designers is they generally don't want to go down, so if I try to hire somebody from the Asia-Pacific Super Cup, they're probably not going to want to work for the European Racing Series. In fact, if I try to hire somebody from the European Racing Series, they're going to be like, who the hell are you? No, fuck off. So really what I want to look at is the people that are kind of lower ranked. And you can see here that sometimes the stars are filled in and sometimes they're not. The filled in stars are their current ability, and the blacked out stars or the not filled in stars are their maximum level of ability. How high they can get with what they as they mature and become better at their jobs. Which means that Charlotte Williams is a terrible, terrible person to hire now, but if you're willing to stick with her, could be pretty decent later. So, those are all considerations that you have to take into account. Houston Woods, he's actually pretty good. He's 2.5 stars, but he's already 50. He's going to want to retire soon, so that's not actually a good contract. Theo Frazier, he's pretty good, but he's almost at the limit of his potential, so you have to make those decisions as well. There's basically a lot that's going on. Also, they're known components here. They can give you benefits when you're building contracts, or building parts, I should say. I will employ you to the end of 2017 and I'll give you a decent contract. He'd like a nice signing on fee. Doesn't need one. Bonus size is quite important though, so tell you what, if we can get 7th or above, I will give you $30,000 per race. We'll see what he says. Bing, ding, 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 ding. Alright, so we've got an interview request. This is just talking about the other racers in the series. Yeah, are you interested in doing an interview? Sure, why not? Well, you certainly picked a tough task for your first job. Are you expecting to pick up many points at all this season? We're going to surprise a few people this year. Mark my words. Points are definitely on the cards. Which does affect everybody's morale. Drivers don't like being held to a standard that they don't know if they can meet it. But the chairman likes it when you set your goals high. So you got to manage that too. Andre Gomes is seen by your fans as the top driver. Do you agree with that, or would you say that Faith Anthony is better? I'm lucky enough to have inherited 2 great drivers, and I can't wait to see them race. That helps their morale. In the XBC Sports Season preview, I wrote that you're expected to finish 10th in the team's championship, out of 10. Is that accurate, or do you think you can do any better? We can do better. I can promise you that. You've been a legendary engineer in the pit lanes for years now. Are you expecting your background to give you any advantages on the pit wall? Fans should know that they're in safe hands with me. We're going to push the car to the limit, and that gets our marketability up. Alright, so he's running out of patience. He doesn't like the wages. So we'll boost that up. And we'll give you a bit better signing fee, because that's a one-time expense. And continue. And if that doesn't work, well, whatever. Oh, we have a sponsorship offer. Sweet. Wait, what? Do we? Sponsors. What? What are you talking about, sponsorship offer? Staff? Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. Huh, weird. Thought I had a sponsorship offer. Guess not. What's happening here? Sponsors! Now we have sponsors. Sweet. So, target position 16th or above. That gets us $75,000 per race and $1 million up front. That's my only offer for this particular slot, so I might as well take it. Gets me $1 million. Slot 3. We only have one offer available, but if we finish 2nd or above, we get $650,000. That's really good. Also incredibly unlikely, but they do give me an upfront payment. This is where it gets interesting. You have to choose what you're going to do. So these guys will give me just straight up $150,000 per race, but nothing up front. These guys give me $500,000 up front, but nothing per race. These guys give me $450,000 up front and $85,000 per race, but the deal length is only half as long. Of those 3, this gives us the most money, because 6 times $150,000 is $900,000. This is the worst one because it lasts the longest and gives us the least, and this one gives us about $700,000. So this is actually not a bad deal. And once the deal expires, I can renew with another sponsor. So we're going to go with this one. So those are the kind of decisions you gotta make, and I find it interesting at least. Oh, upcoming report on the event in Black Sea. We are expecting that it'll be sunny during the practice and rainy during the race, which sucks. Alright, did you get pissed? Alright. There's no way I'm signing a deal like that. Forget it. Well, fuck you too, buddy. Alright. What can we build here? So the design center, we can shave some time off building new parts. And we'll be able to build a wind tunnel simulator, handling development center, and a 50% cost reduction on the tour center and the helipad. Oh, my cursor is invisible? It totally is. You are correct. Let me fix that while I can. That's not the right thing. Boop, boop, boo, ba-doo, boo, ba-doo, boo. Capture cursor. Ding. There we go. Now I've got a cursor. Yay. Can build epic engines. More part development staff. 4 extra part improvement slots. But these are super expensive, so I can't really afford those. I mean, even these are pretty goddamn expensive. Well, fuck you too. Yes, I am looking for new staff. I want a designer, please. Charlotte. You're awful. But let's see what I can do. Wages are important. I'll give you a nice signing on fee of $45,000. Bonus size is quite important. Hey, if you can do 6th or above, I'll give you $15,000. How's that? We'll go all the way up. There we go. See what she says. Alright, so we finished designing an engine. So now we have to choose which car we're going to fit the parts to. Which is super important. Because, god damn it, I have 2 drivers and I can only fit the parts to 1. And yes, they will get mad if I fit it to the other guy's car. Let's see here. It's also not very reliable, but neither is this one, so I'm going to put it on here, back. Now, you're probably noticing that these say spec parts, the rear wing and the front wing. That's because this particular racing series, at the moment, says that everybody uses the same front wing and rear wing. If you can't change those. As the game progresses, you get to be one of the people that votes in changing the championship. So you can say, oh, I want to be able to design the front wing, or I want everybody to use the same engine as a spec part. So that's where you can get into interesting deals. Where's my car? Nope. Yes, improved parts. That's what I need. Okay, I need this part improved for reliability as much as possible before the end of the race. And performance, because it's currently garbage. Garbage. You only have so many people that can work on a thing. And these guys are not going to be able to fully upgrade this before the next race, but they will be able to get some stuff done. And we're heading to the Black Sea. Alright, Faith Anthony is now doing fast food commercials, which means that her fitness sucks. But her marketability has markedly improved. Haha. Alright. So you have one last chance to fit parts. And you do have to choose a sponsor. We're going to go with RustJet because I'm pretty sure we're not going to get above 16th. But you can see how this will affect how much money you get for each race. So very important to do that. Top speed is crucial, acceleration is crucial, and high speed corners is crucial. Alright. Off we go to Russia. And the Black Sea Grand Prix. Also, technically, we're not swapping out an entirely new engine when we switch parts. They're basically switching the parts in the engine. You can't just put a whole new engine into an F1 car. It does not work that way. It still costs a lot to be able to build it up to the tolerances, but... Alright. So you guys are going to be the drivers. Alright, and now we have to figure out the tune. So these are what we're expecting. Somewhere in this realm of what we're going to need. And not only is every car different, every driver is different. So, high-speed quarters, I'm going to guess that we need actually more downforce, because downforce helps with cornering. And we will need some... We'll go with oversteer. And gear ratios will favor acceleration. You only have so many tires, so you better make sure you're using the right ones. We will put on super softs. And continue. Change setup. So the thing with tires, and this is something that I knew before I actually ever played this game. The thing with tires is that The softer a tire is, the better the grip, but the faster it rips itself to shreds, which is kind of a big concern. Put it right there. So yeah, the green is every lap that you finish, the green will narrow until as they get better. They get a better idea of what they need to do. However, their feedback rating, which you can see here, her feedback is 8, his feedback is 13. It's the bottom and the middle. The more feedback they give, the faster it narrows, so you can get dialed in faster, because you have a limited amount of time for practice. Send out. Yep, we already set it up. Oh, wait, stints. Yeah, go for 2 minutes, or 2 laps, and let's send you out. Ding, ding, ding. Now this, I guess you could say, is the meat and potatoes of the game. This is where you're actually racing. And as you can see, the tires already start to wear pretty quick. But you have to consider things like how fast are your tires going to wear? Are your tires wearing enough that you need to replace them on the next lap? How much fuel do you have? How much fuel can you afford to burn? Do you want to try passing now, or do you want to wait until the track thins out a bit so that you have a better chance of doing it? All kinds of stuff like that has to come into consideration. So this is the out lap. The out lap goes to start a new flying lap. And a flying lap basically means that you hit the finish line at full speed, so that you're giving it as much speed as possible when you do your actual qualifying lap. And we're just going to speed this up. Gearing is a bit dodgy. Can we change the setup? Aero setup feels fantastic. That doesn't mean that it's perfectly dialed in. It just means it's good. Purple. When you see purple, it means it's the fastest lap out of everybody that's here for that section. When you see green, it's your fastest lap. And when you see gray, it means that it's slower than your last lap. So as you can see, Anthony is going down to 6th, 8th. As more people finish laps, they're dropping down. Handling isn't responsive enough. Can we do anything about that? Yes, we can. But they're doing 2 laps and then they'll do an in lap. Downforce feels bang on. Nice job. Cool, I got that right. Knowledge unlocked. Race trim. So the more you do in practice, the better the drivers feel in terms of the course itself. The more that they will be able to... the more that they'll be able to apply that personal experience to their car. So she's going to come in here. And she dropped down to 17th. So obviously her car is not set up right. So, knowledge gained low. Downforce, she thought it was good. Handling, bad. Speed balance, good. So the speed balance is pretty good. I need to adjust the handling, which is usually best done by suspension stiffness. And then let's move this right here. Alright. And, yep, send you out for another 2 laps on new tires. And let's see what you liked. You didn't like a lot. But he has better feedback, so his feedback is better, so this goes down, narrows down quite a bit more. He didn't like his speed balance. I'm willing to bet that he didn't like the fact that he was so focused towards acceleration. So I'm going to try and move it up a bit more towards speed. His handling needs to go a bit more towards understeer, I'm willing to bet. But he liked the downforce, so. And swap the tires. There we go. And away we go. Another thing that you have to consider with the tires is that putting on new tires will give you a different tire temperature. Tires heat up at different temperatures, and the hotter your tires get, which is done by outside temperature, length of the lap, how many turns there are, and how hard you're driving the car, the faster they'll wear out. And super soft tires work best when they're warm, but as soon as they get hot, you're sliding all over the place. Hard tires work best when they're cold, and as soon as they get hot, they just start to rip more. They don't really lose that much grip. Yep, handling is better. So Anthony is putting in faster laps here. And she's only about a second behind first. And let's see what this does for her. Bing, moves her up to 13th place, whereas Gomes stayed in 16th. Wow, he's not doing too good, is he? How much more time do we have on this practice session? Okay, I need you guys to come in now. I need to try another setup before I get a chance to... So she's not going to go for another lap. She's going to come in. And we're going to try and send her out once more. So our previous session, we had 79% good setup. Now we have a 92% good setup. We really need to adjust that downforce a bit more. Okay. And go out on those tires. As for you... He's got a lot of greats, which is good. 96% setup, so he is almost perfectly in tolerance. Perfect is excellent. It's purple, and when you get that, then you know that you're right in line with what the driver wants. Let's try doing that and adjust this by points. Okay. Stay on those tires and go. In order for... Yeah, you can also set it up for this, which is boring. In order for them to have one more chance at a lap, they have to cross the finish line before this hits 0. Which is kind of a big ask, but let's see what they can do. Oh, Faith is going to get there. Alright, so she just started a new flying lap. Yeah, we just got it. Boom! Alright, so I actually did improve her aero setup, otherwise she wouldn't have said that. And you don't like your aero setup, so we have to reduce that. And then everybody just kind of disappears after they cross the finish line. Handling is spot on, guys. Alright. So that's that, but we basically sucked. That was the practice lap. I think that counts as your... Yeah, okay. That counts as the qualifying lap. So that's why it's so vitally important to get it right. We can add this and this, confirm this and this. Basically, the more you race around, the better your knowledge of, what you get comes. Race trim, I feel like, is the idea of knowing the course, but I could be wrong on that. But basically, it gives you straight-up performance increases, which is great, but it's going to rain. Probably. So you didn't like this. So we'll swap back to that. I'm going to put her on super soft tires for now. They don't last very long, but that's okay. Fuel tanks are limited by design. This one was just a bit better, so we'll use that. Put you on super softs. Yeah, you only have a certain amount of tires per race. So especially if you're playing with longer races, then you have to take that into consideration, whether or not you're going to have enough tires for practice and for the final race. Boom. So we're going to follow Miss Anthony here. Now, I really don't expect to do very well. Anthony Gomes, for example, just dropped to 20th place. Or, Andre Gomes, sorry. Faith Anthony is her name. So you can see here our sponsor objective. We have to have at least one person finish... Okay. At least one person finish above 16th. Which is not terribly difficult, but not guaranteed when you're starting your own fucking team. You can take over one of the other teams, like there's Garuda Racing and a couple of other teams that you can take over. And they have it a bit easier because they're more established and have specific problems as opposed to building an entire team. But if you're playing this game and you're making your own team, you're basically going to need to consider the... everything. You need to consider the aspects of everything. I'm going to need to replace my drivers when their contracts run out. I don't want to hire them again. I'm going to need to get a new designer. I'm going to need to get a whole new pit crew. All that stuff has to come into play. And we drop down to 17th. Of course. The Ballet needs to get out of my way. Oh, and then the other thing is, racing is really hard on the cars. So... if any of these gets down to red, there is a chance that they will take catastrophic damage and end the race for that driver. So you might have to repair it during a pit stop, which takes time. Alright, what's the weather looking like? Okay, it's cooling down. Still no rain on the horizon, so we're doing okay. But yeah, if you really want to do this, like... legitimately, you can set this game to 50 to 60 lap races, which I don't do just because I feel like actually doing something with my time. But Faith Anthony is really running her tires out. You still have 4 laps of fuel left, and there's still... okay. So I'm going to need her to pit on lap 6, and then Gomez on lap 7. Hopefully. That's not a guarantee. Ooh, tires are really not warm. Alright, now I can tell you to pit, and I want you to swap your tires, fill up your tank. So right now... swapping the tires, filling up the tank, that's 13 seconds. If I go to fix the part, that adds a whole 24 seconds and barely gets it up to functioning. You can do a safe pit stop, which basically adds 2 seconds, and 2 seconds can be a big difference. You can do a balanced pit stop, which has a chance of failure, or you can do a fast pit stop, which has a really big chance of somebody messing up, and the pit stop takes twice as long as you would expect. We're just going to go with a balanced one. But she's going to need to pit first, because I only have one pit crew, so I can only service one car at a time. You don't want to stack them up. Also, you've probably noticed that I just jumped up into 13th and 14th. That's because a whole bunch of people just pitted. That's not because I'm actually driving better. And in fact, one of the things that you can really do in this game is to try and maximize your position, is to pit off schedule, so you're running when they're not. Okay, swap tires. I'm actually going to swap you to softs. Yeah, I'm going to swap you to softs. They'll last longer, because your parts are in pretty good shape. Alright, pit. Ooh, Dembele crashed. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, so Faith Anthony just dropped into 18th place, but the lowest I can go is 19. Unless I crash. Actually, no, even if I do crash. Andre Gomes drops to 8th place. He's going to be in the pit in a second. There he goes. So, front jack, swap those tires, fill up that gas tank, and go. And it's just that fast. Like, if you've never watched, like, Formula 1 or NASCAR, where they do pit stops, a pit stop is a thing of beauty to see. It's If you like dancing, if you like ballet, a pit stop is the ballet that you want to watch for car repairs, because it's like, hey, I need to take off 4 tires, put on 4 new tires. Yeah, okay, you're fine. Put on 4 new tires, fill up the gas tank, lift it off the ground to do that, put it back on the ground. I need to do that in 7 seconds. Done. Like, it's insane how fast they do that shit. Oh, somebody else crashed. Nice. Still no... Oh, nope. Rain is going to start at around lap 12. Lap 11. So switching to super softs was not the best option. Oh, track grip is also an interesting factor. Everybody drives basically the same racing line. The more people drive that racing line, the more rubber is put down on the road, and the more... the more grip you have when you're driving. But as soon as the water comes onto the track, it's super slippery. Or the track grip goes down to nothing, as you can see right there. These are predictions, by the way, that aren't necessarily what's going to happen, but they fill in as you get farther in the race. Alright, I'm going to need you to pit and swap over to intermediates. Yeah? How much water are we expecting on the track? We're expecting a lot of water, but it's still going to be in the mid-range, so we'll do intermediates. And there will be... Yeah. And then your engine is really starting to go, so I gotta fix that. We're going to try to go for a fast one. Shave a couple of seconds off that pit, but I don't know if that's going to work. And then Gomez will have him in the... Oh, shit, no. Gomez has got to go in right now. There's nothing worse than driving on slick tires in the water. It just doesn't work. Alright, and let's have you pit to swap to... Let's have you put on wets, just in case. There are 6 laps left, so we only need that much fuel. Parts are looking good, and we will have you do a balance stop. So refueling and repairing. God damn it. Go faster. Oh my god. God damn it. Thank you. Okay. Now, a lot of these guys are running on super softs, and the track is getting really wet. These guys are all going to pit right now. See? They're all pitting. They have to. Like, realistically, they absolutely have to. So he's the only one running on wets, which is probably not the best idea. Because you want to marry the tires to the actual situation. If you don't, then he's going to run a little slower. But oh my god, there's people that are actually still running on super softs. Fuck off. So eyes are intermediate tires. They're not quite full wet tires. So they're a bit faster when the conditions are damp but not wet. And then W's, wet tires, are for when you have seriously wet conditions, like the water on the track is just nuts. And I have him on wet tires because he's going to be doing better in the later parts of the race. Whereas Faith Anthony is going to be struggling a bit. But it looks like we're on track to actually succeed at our sponsorship goal, at least. Only a few more laps to go. And this is a brand new team with a garbage team, garbage setup, garbage drivers, garbage car. So for us to not finish in last is kind of a big deal. Your gearbox is definitely in bad condition. What the hell did you do to your wing? Jesus. What's your condition? Ooh, your brakes are starting to fry too. Interesting. Not good. Does everybody have enough fuel? We do have fuel. We have excess fuel. Burn more fuel. Burn it. So this is your strategy. You can just conserve, back up, neutral, push, attack, overtake, high, medium, low. The higher the engine mode, the more fuel it uses up. The higher the tire mode, the faster the tires wear out. So definitely things that you have to consider. But we actually have too much fuel, so using up a little bit of it is not that big a deal. Amanda Cavalcanti ran wide, means that she took a corner way too wide and needs to get back on track, and that's going to be difficult. But nobody's going to pit on this lap because it's the last lap. But as you can see, Anthony is already running slower than she normally does because she's on inters and the track is wet as hell. Whereas Gomez is actually able to pass people, in theory, because they're running on inters and he's got wets. So it's not going to make much of a difference. He's still not going to get anywhere close to a podium finish, but it gave him 2 spots before the end of the race. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into this game. A lot of strategy. He was about to actually break his car down, which is interesting. And sometimes you just get screwed by random chance. You're taking a lap and your engine's at like 20% and it's the final lap, and suddenly you hit a bump and it goes down to 10%, then 5%, and then done. And those are all things that you have to deal with. You can see what everybody did here when they changed their tires. What else we got here? Oh, that's what I'm looking for. What everybody selected for tires. Right now, the tire selection is made for you at the start of the race because that's the type of Grand Prix that we're in. You can see their timings, position trackers, what their pit stops look like, gap to the leader, lap charts, the commentary feed in case you were wondering what happened to everybody, and the standings. This is the championship standings as it stands. We got 8 points and 5 points for both of their finishes. Or sorry, Gomez got 8 points and Faith Anthony got 5 points. We get their combined points in the Drivers' Championship. We are expected to come in at 10th. Right now we're at 8th. That's not bad. But there's a lot of seasons to go. Scrutineering is actually awesome. You can build car parts that don't necessarily meet the requirements that the GMA sets, and if they scrutinize your car and you're using one of these non-standard parts, then there is a chance that they will find that you broke a rule, which means A, you can't use that part anymore, B, you're going to lose about 3 spots or 2 or 3 spots in the standings for the end of the race, so you could come in first and actually end up 4th, and C, they're going to be much more scrutinizing of your car in the future, so you don't want to risk any more rule break. But they might also not find anything because they're not actually scrutinizing all that hard. So there's a lot of things to consider to get to the middle. So yeah, that's basically Motorsport Manager in a nutshell. Take a team, build it up, run it through a race, or run it through a season over and over and over again, trying to get better and better, going up to different championship races, and trying to keep everybody happy. So the chairman expected that we would come in 10th. We actually came in 9th. So the chairman is actually super happy with us. And everybody's stats just kind of changed just a little bit. And we do have to pay for the race. That's the World of Motorsport, Asia Pacific, and the European Racing Series. So yeah, that is Motorsport Manager. I love this game. I've put a lot of hours into this game because it's just compelling. It's one of those games where you can see yourself making progress slowly and steadily. You get to the end of the season, you have to decide how much money you want to put into designing a new car for the coming season. That affects how good the car is at the beginning. You have to decide on contracts, all that kind of stuff. The only thing that I wish this game had that it doesn't is in Motorsport Manager Mobile 2, there's a young driver program where you can train like teenagers that want to become Formula One racers, so that when they finish the young drivers program, you can hire them on. I wish that this game had that. That would be so cool. But it doesn't. Maybe there's a mod for it. We had a mistake-free weekend. Oh, want to do an interview? Okay. We're wondering if you had any thoughts on Jean-Pierre Girard. Thinking of working with him in the future? He's an interesting driver, and anything can happen in motorsport, which is going to piss off, or which is going to make him happy, and doesn't piss off my drivers. Park condition dropped, blah, blah, blah. Total time to fix is 36 hours. That's actually not a big deal, but they won't be able to work on parts while they're doing it. All right. So next time on Character Select, we will do some more stuff and see what we can do. We're not going to play this game anymore, just because this was a one-shot. If you're, as always, if you're interested in seeing any of the games that I do on single shots, seeing more of them, let me know in the comments down below so that I can either record more episodes or stream them. And thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click that like button down below if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, all of that wonderful stuff. And I'll see you in the pit lanes.